I'm going to show you chaps how to brew a lager beer. But we start, first of all, with the malting process. This is the conversion of barley into malt. And then you've got to grind it up, so you mill it. And this breaks it down into small particles, which are easy to extract. And it's going to be extracted in a stage called mashing. Mashing is all about converting the starch into sugar. And then you've got to separate that liquid from the solids. And this is a process called lautering. This happens in a lauter tub. And you collect it in the kettle. And the kettle is where you boil. Boil with vigor. You don't have a... First thing that's going to happen is you're going to sterilize it. This is how beer saved the world, because people for thousands of years drank water and it was contaminated with pathogenic organisms and they dropped dead. You're only here today because your ancestors drank beer. This is a stage at which you add the hops, the flowering body of the female of the species. And they provide the bitter materials and they provide the aroma. Go through another stage called a whirlpool, and this is where you separate those proteins out. And it's still very, very hot. So you got to cool it down. And you add yeast, Saccharomyces. And they grew because the ale yeast reacted with a wine yeast called eubionos. And they, somebody dimmed the lights, soft music, and they got together and they produced this yeast. And the yeast converts the sugars into alcohol and into carbon dioxide. If it's a lager, and the word lager means to store, this maturation process takes a long time. And what you're doing really is cleaning up the flavors, getting the perfect flavor balance. So now we have filtration, which is where we clarify the beer and we get rid of the insoluble material. Finally, we get to the most expensive stage of all. This is the packaging. Now, many of the lager beers, not all, many of them have got a fairly gentle flavor. And that means you can't hide any of your mistakes in a lager beer. A very difficult beer to make successfully and make tasting exactly the same every time. And that, my friends, is how you brew a bloody good beer. Cheers.